I love the fact that Harold Ford hangs out with these guys now. I just love it. Jesse Waters, Greg Gutfeld, Harold Ford Jr. walk into a bar. And, oh wait, no, I'm sorry. They have a TV show. It's called Fox 5. And apparently there was a video going around of a fight in a school.
Okay.
I don't know about how unique that is.
World Star, Fox.
I mean, honestly, like when I was a kid, we had fights. I remember seeing some very nasty fights. The ambulances having to come up in high school. It's just... In fact, there's even this movie called West Side Story that was based upon all the fights that happened back in the 50s with kids. I mean...
Very similar to your childhood?
A lot of like dancing, fighting type moves.
Yeah, knives?
I did not see.
Get you off
no, okay. There was some. I mean, there were weapons in some of these fights, and like people would wear sharp things to cut other people.
Oh yeah, like keys in there.
Well, no, you put the keys in there, but people would actually like they would wear.
In the 80s, there'd be spikes and stuff.
Yeah, spikes.
Just by the hair, spiky hair.
Anyways, here's Jesse Waters and Greg Gutfeld on Harold Ford Jr., and this is interesting.
This will continue.
Yeah, I was going to blame Psaki, too. That was my idea. No, the teacher doesn't want to get involved because the trial lawyers will sue her pants off. And this happened to me one time.
It did?
Yep. I was sitting behind a kid in junior high in Spanish class, and I was just whipping rubber bands at the back of his neck, like whap, whap, whap.
This is the part about you say we didn't get a chance to see what was happening.
And then so like the back of his neck just got beet red, just really tore his flesh up. And then after the last one, maybe the seventh one, he turns around and he just went, woo. And I covered up and I blocked all the shots. But I mean, he definitely got a few shots off.
Did you get in trouble?
Yes. And I threatened that we were going to fight after class. And then immediately we got suspended, in-school suspension. And then we patched things up, and we ended up stealing beer from the special office where they used to entertain for fundraisers, and then stashed it outside.
Should I interrupt here?
Yes.
Is there statute of limitations passed?
No. I think I've told my father about this. And then went and got the beer later before a dead show.
These kinds of things
that did not help this story whatsoever.
No, but I'm saying people need to get involved. Someone stood up and took the kid off of me when he started raining blows down. You can't have someone just launch off on some girl like that and not intervene.
Or maybe you shouldn't have been hitting the guy in the back of the neck.
Well, I deserved it. I totally deserved it. And maybe that's what that girl did.
Police officers, law enforcement in schools, should we have more of that, Greg? Or...
In some schools, absolutely. But you know what this...
So this is the point, though. Bizarre, but if there were cops in Jesse Waters' high school... Maybe he would have had something on his record. I mean, he talks about how he stole beer. That's a criminal act. We need some tough on crime policies to go after the Jesse Waterses of the world. I mean, honestly, crime in preppy high schools is out of control. Lock them up.
Also, Jesse Waters likes to get his ass kicked, it seems like.
The school he went to, I believe, was a private school, as you can tell, I think, from his story, because in most public schools, you don't have like a reception area with beer. My understanding is, and double check on this, William, that it was the William Penn Charter School, but I don't know that it was actually a public charter school. I believe it was a private charter school. I think one of those Quaker-style schools. Cost, I don't know, a couple of $1,000s. Who knows how much it cost then? But it is amazing. Like, it's like they just turned them out there. Jesse Waters and his buddy Tucker Carlson, they just get pumped out of private school. Both probably ushered into Trinity, where their parents probably...
Jesse Waters didn't learn the pacifist lessons from his Quaker...
I don't know,
Quaker school.
But your point is like, I mean, the stealing the beer, and if Jesse Waters, as a this is 2022, but obviously an expensive private school. Jesse Waters let's just imagine he does the same thing in a school, and he is a black teenager, and he gets an actual record that sticks with it. His father doesn't just find out now.
Yeah.
Parents find out in the moment because he is now in a spiraling system where he is going to be tagged with a record that is going to implicate the rest of his school career. Maybe it gets him into further trouble. That gets into further trouble. He's just like, and doesn't even consider that moment could have fundamentally changed his life the way that it does for a lot of the people that he rails on all the time.
And remember, like, it was just in October when that story out of Louisiana with the dads on duty came around, and it's like people on the right were promoting it as if, because I think they like to say, like, hey, let's get it, it's all these PMC teachers that are brainwashing your kids, let's get the dads in. But like, that their mind goes straight to cops still. It's not that like fathers need more time off from, like, say, the need to earn a living and more time spent with their families. It's let's get more cops in there to arrest people.
Right. I mean, what if Harold Ford's idea to have more cops in the schools, what if Jesse Waters had been subjected to that suggestion? The likelihood of him sitting there, well, I mean, Jesse Waters, you know, I think the resources that he had, but let's again
say he didn't have those
Jesse
meetings.
Waters didn't have those wasn't at a private school, wasn't from a wealthy family, but had the same inclination to do that with a rubber band.
Because
Cops
he's a
are
kid,
there.
Because he might be a punk kid,
There's
right?
evidence this kid's neck is just, like he said, raw with this rubber band.
Yeah, I mean, his entire trajectory of his life is different. Now, to be fair, he probably wouldn't be where he was if he didn't have a wealthy family and hadn't gone to a private school anyways. But any opportunities that this guy had were a function of the fact that he didn't have to have any accountability for the greater part of his life. And no concept. Yeah, no concept of that whatsoever. No concept of it whatsoever. None.